Okay. Okay, what am I doing here? Gee whiz. Every time I do this, I have to retrain myself. Oh, let's see. I'm going to push that button. And what do we want to do here? Okay, I want to turn that sound down. That's what I want to do. That would be this one. And audio. Audio. Oh, okay, mute. And there we go. Finally. Okay. This is another one of those unscheduled events. And what prompted me is a couple of things. One is I got the email from NOAA on the solar flux index, and it said the solar flux index was 72. Now, 72 is not a good number. You want a number above 100, but it's been below 70 for months. So it's a slight improvement. So I thought, what the heck? Let me see if I can get on anything on shortwave. And what you're seeing is the Texan S8800. Oh, there's some people talking. Well, there's one that's slightly tuned off and one that I heard clearly. This is fairly expensive. I think it's about $270 or $280. You can get it off of Amazon. I got this from Anon. I'm not sure if you pronounce that correctly. ANON-CO. And the nice lady there was nice enough to send me one for review. And I did a review. I did a fairly extensive review, and I do like the radio. Now, I prefer tabletop radios. This is really a portable radio that can be used on the tabletop. Now, what makes it different than other portable radios is that it has this remote control. Let me see if I'm even showing you anything on. Let me flip over here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, it has this remote control. So you can have it sitting on a desk or on a shelf or whatever, and you control it with this remote control. Ideal. It has a bunch of other features that your radios in the around $100 don't have. Some of the other Texan models, they don't have many of these features, like multiple bandwidths, like single sideband, like very high precision tuning on single sideband. Got a lot of features. But anyway, the next thing that prompted me to get on the air was the conditions in Hawaii. And there are some nets, some amateur radio nets, that are considered emergency nets. And you're only supposed to talk on those frequencies if it's an emergency related transmission. Stand by. So I thought I would try to tune those. Well, I have an email. Let me see if I can find the email. Let me flip over here. Let me go to desktop now. Screen share. Share. Okay, now I got to get this down out of the way. So there is Web SRD in one of the radios. This particular radio is in California. So I thought if I got one off the coast of California, I might be able to hear those nets. And I've tuned to one of them, which is at 14.6. I'm tuned off of it, 14.625. I guess I bumped it when I was doing other things. Oh, okay, it was there. Why was that reading? Oh, I was reading the wrong number. So this is at 14.625. And I go to my emails. This is an email. No, that's not an email. I guess I closed my email. Oh my gosh, it took me so long to find that email again. But anyway, there was an email put out in one of the users groups about the emergency radios. Excuse me, about the emergency frequencies for the amateur radio bands. And one of the frequencies is this 14.625, and it's called something like a Salvation Army emergency net or something. And I could hear, this was last night, I could hear on this station, I could hear somebody on that net. And it was really loud and clear, and they were in Omaha. And so they were pretty far from the coast, but I was still hearing them on this radio. Are you confused at this point? Okay, I'm on the internet, and I'm on a Kiwi SDR radio that's in California. I was hoping to get some broadcast from that emergency net from Hawaii. And like I was trying to say late last night, I was hearing one. Supposedly the guy, there was a guy in Hawaii and there was a guy in Omaha, and they were talking about conditions, weather conditions. That was kind of interesting. So that's another reason why I'm trying to do this hangout. All right, let's go back and see. Let me go over to my other computer and see if there's anything in the chat. Probably not. Like I say, I didn't schedule this. It was just a spur of the moment. Stand by. Okay, so I originally this morning I tuned up. I don't even know what I tuned this Texan S8800 to that emergency band, which is 14625. Didn't hear anything at all. What's a little confusing, let me turn the audio back up, because there is, on the waterfall, it does look like there's some activity. So let me turn the audio back on. Hopefully you can hear it. Nope, nothing heard. Last night, the waterfall was showing some really strong signal. And of course, this morning it's not. So what I ended up tuning my Texan to is the 80-meter band, just to see if anybody was there. Excuse me, stand by. Okay. And the other thing I did is I used the automatic tuning and storing function of this radio. Let me go back to the radio. I'll turn off screen sharing. Oops, stop. Screen sharing, stop. And there's the radio. So I used that feature to see what I could pick up. And I picked up maybe 5 strong stations. Well, 5 strong signals. A couple of them were noise. So I'm going to try that right now and see what I can find. Now, this is the Texan S8800, and I've got it connected to my G5RV external antenna right now. It's hooked up in the back. Okay. So another good thing about this radio is it has a B and C connector in the back for shortwave, instead of using one of these phono plugs on the side that, the cable is tweaking on that connector in order to break it. A nice strong connection in the back. Matter of fact, I might be able to turn this around. Whoops. Take the camera. Might be able to turn this around and show you. Okay, there's the connection. Nice, strong BNC connector down here. And of course, I have to use an adapter to get my coax connector. All right, we're going to try the scan again. And it takes a while, so I'll start it, and then I'll just keep mumbling. Okay, there it started. That's not what I wanted to do. This one, it has two modes of scanning. One is to scan within the band, international broadcast band you're in. It's only scanning international broadcast band. It doesn't do a full scan of the shortwave band. So I'm going to use the other option, which is to scan all the international broadcast bands. We'll get that started. Here we go. So that's running. It will take several minutes. And in the meantime, we'll go back here and we will, that's not where I wanted to go. Where I wanted to go, but I wanted to show it to you. We will share again, share, and then I got to get this out of the way so you can actually see my screen, and still no activity on this particular frequency. Now, what I might do is just give up on this for now. The thing is, it is, well, what time? See, it's 7 o'clock here. I don't know what the time is in Hawaii, but I imagine it's in the middle of the night. So that might explain why nobody's on the air. Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to go over and check the chat on my other computer. And as I suspected, nobody in the chat room. Again, I just did this off the cuff, didn't schedule this. For some people, this is, depending on where you live, this could be a bad time. I'm in Clearwater, Florida, and it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I normally get up between 4 and 5. So it's kind of the middle of my morning. So that's why I'm up and at this. I'm surprised I'm not hearing anything on this frequency at all. I see this little line here, but if I turn the audio up, there's nothing there. Now, maybe that's because I'm tuned way off of that. Let me just tune to it. Let me go turn the mute off. And we'll tune over here. I'm not sure what that is. It's pretty steady. I can kind of hear voices. I hear voices. Okay, let's mute this again, and then we'll close this down, stop, and we'll go back to our local radio. It has finished the scan. I'll turn the volume back up. That's bleed over. I'm at 1.83. It's bleed over from the medium wave band. So that's not exciting. So let's go up. Probably more bleed over.
Now for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com.
Let's see if I can.
That's ZipRecruiter.com/find.
Got a lot of reflections. I hated that when you do these hangouts, the screen I see, everything's reversed. So I'm trying to point to the radio and I'm pointing over here and vice versa. Very confusing. Let's see what else I found. More bleed over. More bleed over. That's all I got? That's all I got? 3 stations that are just bleed over from. Oh my gosh. That's pretty terrible. Okay, let's go to direct tune. We'll go to 5 megahertz. Okay, there's WWV, 5 megahertz. And there, okay, all right. Got to be a mute button here someplace. I don't see a mute button. Anyway, the first person, the lady you heard, the lady voice you heard, is from Hawaii. So I'm getting Hawaii. The second one is out of Colorado. And in the past few months, I haven't been able to even get the one in Colorado. So that's an improvement. Let's go to 10 megahertz. Usually I get 5 megahertz early in the morning. As the day goes on, I get 10, and then I get 15. That's kind of how it goes. So I expect 5 megahertz right now is the strongest. Let's go to 10. And I'll turn the volume back up. No. Really weak. I think I'm on sideband. Yeah. I was on sideband, which is fine. You can listen to these stations on sideband. There's nothing on 10 megahertz. Okay, let's go to back down to the amateur radio band at 80 meters and see what I can hear there. So that would be, say, we'll start at 350, just for grins. And then we'll go to, they're usually on lower sideband. And then we'll turn the volume up. Now, as I said before, this radio, especially in single sideband, will really, really fine tune. It's now tuning down to, I got 2 tuning steps, fine and regular, on single sideband and on 8 AM. Anyway, so we don't tune down to 0.00001. I think that's 10 kilohertz. Pretty fine resolution. Now, let's turn it back up and see what we can find. Okay, I'm tuning at 100 kilohertz now, using these 2 side buttons. Oops. And the fine tuning is the 2 top and bottom buttons. Okay, we have to go up a ways here. Probably should have started at 3.7. Notice there's no muting while tuning. Another nice feature. Stand by. Let me check the chat room. I wonder if anybody's even hearing me. Okay. If somebody could give me a report on the video and the audio, whether it's you can hear it, whether it's loud enough, whether it's choppy, whatever, I'd appreciate it. Okay, thanks for the signal report, and thanks for the time in Hawaii, 1 AM. That would kind of explain why nobody's on the air. Yeah. I knew it was late at night, but I didn't realize it was 1 AM. Anyway, we're going to see if we can find anything on the amateur radio band. I'm going to start at 37. I started too low. Maybe I'll start at 38. Now, this radio, let me turn this down for a second. This, how did I get the camera way over there? Where are we? This looks like some of the old Greenwich radio, the S350, and I think the 350. And even the 450 did not have direct tuning. I don't think it did. Didn't have direct tuning. But this one, although the layout is very similar to the 350, via this remote control, where did the remote control go? Via this thing, you can direct tune on the numeric keypad. Isn't that cool? So we're at 3.8, and we're going to tune up. Yep. There we go.
George, last couple of years, like he used in church, I call it a studio microphone. Hooked up to one of these boom arms, you know, you can fold and swivel and turn and bend, and I don't know what you call it. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, yeah, Roger on that. Well, it sounds good. There ain't nothing but listen to home one there with the knife. You do like the yell button, Roger. That's not awful. Roger that. No wonder.
Well, that's loud and clear. That's at 3.803 lower sideband.
Alabama there this weekend. Over.
Okay.
With somebody. Go ahead again. Whoever double with me. Good morning, Glenn. What's that to there? Glenn, oh. Good morning, Glenn.
Pretty good. I heard Georgia. I heard Alabama mentioned. Pretty good reception on there. Do we dare go up? Yeah, we got a good conversation here, but let's go on up. Yep. There's another one.
I don't have anything for 20 meters other than my inverted L. It'll work, but it's, you know, I'm sure
clear as a bell. Now, there has been talk that WWV, which we listened to earlier, they're going to shut it down. The government says, you know, nobody uses it. It's too expensive. We're going to shut it down. And there are petitions out there to try to get it to stay on the air. I, of course, use WWV to find out if my equipment is working and the conditions are good or whatever. Another thing you can use, not as easy to use, is listen to the amateur radio bands. Now, you have to have, typically, most of them broadcast in single sideband. Not all of them. Some of them broadcast in AM. And there are hundreds of what's called nets where they get on the air on certain frequencies at a certain time and talking about certain subjects. That's an indication that you can use of whether your equipment is working. It's not as accurate as WWV because WWV is broadcasting all the time. They've always got a signal going. You know where they're at. And so it's great for checking out your system. Now, Canada has an equivalent to WWV. Russia, I believe, still has an equivalent to WWV. I've gotten the Canada one quite easily. The one in Russia, I got maybe once or twice. So I hope they don't shut down WWV. I really do. But we'll see. All good things come to an end, as somebody said. All right. So that's amateur radio band. Let's go back to that radio on the internet that's on the west coast of California and see if anything's going on. Let me close this. Open up, share. get rid of the mirror effect here. And there it is, pretty quiet. Again, I was trying to hear that amateur radio net for emergency. It's called the Salvation Army Emergency Net, I think. There's many of them. I had an email that listed a whole bunch of them, and I accidentally closed it because I was going to show it to you, and it'll take me half an hour to find it again. So I'm not going to worry about it. So let's go back up to where this should be, which is right about there, which should be 14625. I go up a little more. There we go. And it's upper sideband. And as somebody pointed out, communications with Hawaii may not be very active because it's 1 a.m. or thereabouts in Hawaii. So probably not a good time. Maybe I should try this later in the day. I heard it the other night, heard some conversation the other night, but it was like 7 p.m., which would make it 1 in the afternoon, I guess. Let me go check the chat room, see if I can see any more corrections. Okay, I got some more status reports on my audio and video, which appear to be good. The computer I'm using this morning to monitor the chat room is clear across the room. I normally use a little laptop here right on my desk, but I didn't have room for it and the Texan S-8800, so I moved the laptop. All righty. Again, this is kind of a spur of the moment thing. We should close the screen down. Oops. What did I do now? There we go. There, I turned off share. As I mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast, I just thought that I would see how the shortwave bands are, since the solar flux index is 72. Not fantastic, but it's better than 68. And I was hoping I could get some traffic from Hawaii on the amateur radio bands, on the emergency nets on the amateur radio bands. I guess, as somebody has pointed out, it's too early in the morning in Hawaii for anybody to be on those bands. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm just going to play around with the radio here that I have locally. Again, to repeat, this is a Texan S-8800, and I've got my G5RB outside antenna hooked up in the back. So let's try another scan. Let's get it out of single sideband. And we're going to try another scan of all of the international broadcast bands. It failed miserably a few minutes ago. It did. It failed miserably. Okay, here we go. It's scanning now. Now, it takes several minutes for this to scan. And it's scanning, I'm not sure. It looks like it's scanning at 0.005 megahertz steps. Now, using these ATS functions on these radios or something similar usually isn't fantastic when the band conditions are poor like they are now. Because if there's signals out there that really are signals, I mean broadcasts, they're not just noise, they're going to be down in the mud, and these ATS scans are not going to be very productive. When band conditions are better, then they work a lot better. So I don't expect much, and I sure didn't get much the first time I tried this. And then I kicked the camera again. I hope I don't have too much background noise from the fan, but it's quite hot in my office. My office, since it has so many electronics on, has about 6 computers on right now. There's probably 12 computers in this room, 6 of which are on. That generates a lot of heat. And there's no return vent for the air conditioner in this room. That's a big problem. That's what my air conditioning guy told me. He says, you need a return vent in there. So it gets kind of warm in there. Matter of fact, it's 84 degrees in here. So I have to keep the fans on, even though the air's on, or I have to go downstairs where the thermostat is and turn the temperature downstairs down to like 78, and then it keeps it like 82 up here. Still kind of warm. So if you hear a lot of noise from the fans, that's what it is. And I apologize, but I can't turn off. Otherwise, I get so sweaty and sticky I couldn't use the mouse. Then we go back to the radio on the internet. And I'll share my screen so you can see it. Close this down. And there it is. This is Kiwi SDR, and it's one of the radios. This one is on the coast at Point Reeves, California. It's on the coast of California. And let me hide this. And this is the frequency at which Salvation Army does emergency traffic in cases like hurricanes and stuff like that. As I mentioned before, they were coming in loud and clear last night because it was the right time of the day for Hawaii. Right now, it's the wrong time. I didn't realize it. I knew it was quite a bit off, but I didn't realize it was 2 o'clock in the morning out there. There's nothing on there. Now, let's just go away from there and see if I can get anything out that way. I'm in the amateur radio bands. Let's try WWV. Okay, let's try 5 megahertz. Just it's like I say, this is on the coast, so it's closer to Colorado and Hawaii than I am. Yep, there's a big fat signal. Let's put this in AM mode, and we'll turn the volume down before I unmute it. That's a pretty strong signal, and we'll unmute it.
At the time, 11 hours, 35 minutes, coordinated universal time.
Okay, clears the bell. You probably didn't hear it because I had the audio down. The lady from Hawaii, female voice from Hawaii, was loud and clear, unlike what I was getting. I was getting something, but not like this. Now, of course, like I say, this station is over in California, so it's much closer than I am here in Florida. So that's working. Let me zoom this out, see what kind of other signals we can see. Quite a few strong signals. There she is.
At the tone, 11 hours, 36 minutes, coordinated universal time.
There's a little delay between when you mute this. There's a little delay between when you do something in this control panel and it actually happens on the radio. So that's why I'm missing her, because I'm not getting the volume back up fast enough. Anyway, see a lot of signals here. Now, somebody told me what this is, and I forgot. Forgot what that is. And it's in several places on the bands. There's another one right over here, one over here. Another thing nice about this Kiwi SDR website where you can tune up radios throughout the world. Matter of fact, I tried also last night. I tried tuning one radio that was in Hawaii, and there was only one, and there was nothing on it. Oh, I can't. Let me see if she's back. I like to catch one time with her talking, or the female voice. Come on, lady. There we go.
11 hours, 38 minutes. Coordinated universal time.
At the tone, 11 hours, 38.
See, she's very clear on this radio. Not so clear on mine. As a matter of fact, I'll turn mine back on. Let me read. Okay, we just did a scan, a ATS scan. Let's see what the results of that is. Let me turn the volume back up. This is my radio. And hey, let me stop sharing here. Where's the share thing? Okay, there's my radio. This is Texan S-800 with my G5RV antenna connected. The G5RV antenna is pointed northeast. So some people say you receive the best when the signal, here's my antenna pointing northeast, when the signal comes in this way. Other people say it's best when it comes in this way. If it's best this way, which I believe, it's set up for hearing signals strongest in the east and the west, not the north and the south. All right, let's see what we found. Gotta remember how to do this. That's medium wave, bleed over. Medium wave, bleed over. That's 3.915, so that's single sideband, amateur radio band. Oh, there's an actual station. I'll turn it up. Although they're playing music, so I can't leave it up very long. Clear as a bell. So that's probably out of the United States. Let's go to the next one. And that's it. Excuse me. 4.840. There's the next one. I'll turn the volume back up.
Is there a legitimate concern when you watch a preseason game?
Not sure what that is. Nothing.
Por eso destaca que siempre es mejor ganar la opinión de más personas, dado que cada uno tiene su propio punto de vista y no tiene que llegar a conclusiones objetivas.
5.01.
No es completamente objetivo.
Pretty strong. It's probably not too far. Could be Radio Habana. Same thing, I think. 5.935. Nothing there now.
Saul.
Oh, yeah, there's.
Hunting him like an animal.
Oh, my gosh.
He done nothing to Saul.
Full scale.
He come as a shepherd boy and killed Goliath. You know,
that sounds like one of the preacher men out of probably Tennessee, maybe. 5.935. Loud and clear. Full scale.
Deteriorated.
Spanish. 5.970. The usual Spanish station is 6.00. I think that's Radio Habana. It's on 6.0. Another Spanish station. So I got quite a few. Another Spanish station. 7.325. Not sure what that is. Pretty weak. There's 7.335. Nothing. Nothing. Nope.
You said over 800, yeah. And how long since you got your ham license? 2 years. Okay, 2 years, over 800 hams to itself. And what type of antenna you have? You have that thing up in your attic? Yeah, it's up in this, hooked up in the ceiling. Or the condo that I live in. Yeah, that's the farthest contact is. It's all on email. Only runs 50 watts.
I'm not sure what that is, but it's they're talking about amateur radio, but it's definitely an international broadcast station. 9.265.
We're looking for you on the band or
Okay, checking the chat room, and Joe was asking about this radio. It's a Texan S-8800. It's a newer radio. There's not many new radios on the market lately. I mean, you can find 100,000 little cheapo $20 or $10 radios that have shortwave. They must make a billion styles in China. But finding a higher quality radio is higher quality radio is pretty hard. This one came out about a year ago. The only place in the United States I found it or available to the United States is a website called ANON-CO, all capital letters. The nice lady there sent me this radio for a review. So I didn't buy it. It's about $270. A ton of features. You can go back, and I did several shows on this, talking about all the features and everything, and I just kind of scratched the surface. I was actually planning on doing another show and go through the manual and go through all the features that I kind of skipped over. Now, back to Joe's other question is, which do I prefer? And let me look at his question again. He asked, do I prefer this one over the Grundig satellite? Now, that's pretty generic category because Grundig made a whole series of satellite radios. I mean, a bunch of them. And there are some that are fantastic. For instance, my Grundig 800, that's a fantastic radio. It's mammoth. Here is the, let me slide this away. Here is my 750, Grundig 750, which is now sold under the name of Eaton, I believe, Fame Radio. And the 800 is 2 to 3 times bigger than this one. Now, I like this radio, but it has, because it's so popular, it has gone out of sight. It's over $300 now. So you have to take into consideration price, because like the 800, which is not made anymore, sell for like $800. I was totally 100% lucky in that I found one locally on Craigslist. The guy was advertising for $200. And I thought, it didn't work or something, I went over I got to look at it. I got to play with it. Pristine. There was nothing wrong with it. The only thing, it didn't have the proper AC adapter. So I struggled getting the proper AC adapter because it doesn't, that radio doesn't like a noisy, with a lot of noise on it, adapter. The noise goes right through. So it took me a couple of tries at adapters. Finally, one of my subscribers had an extra one, the proper one. He sent it to me, and the radio works fine. So making a choice. Also, the 750 and 800, especially the 800 because it's so big, are table radios. They do have, not the 800, but the 750 is somewhat portable, but not really. It's a table radio. This is definitely a portable radio, has a carrying handle, carrying strap, a portable radio. As far as sitting down and tuning this radio without the remote, it's kind of a pain because of the fact that it's totally vertical, where the 750 is on a slant, and I've slanted it even more. Well, I take that back. I don't think it is on a slant out of the box. I added some extra feet to get some slant on it, so that it's easier to tune. Now, back to this one. I know I'm confusing everybody. Back to this one. This one has a remote. Very, very few, especially new radios, have a remote. My old ICOM R71 has a remote option. And that's an old radio. It's probably 25, 30 years old. Very few radios do. This one does, and it comes with the radio. It's not an option, and it's fantastic. As I mentioned before, if nothing else, it gives you direct tuning capability with the keyboard here, where you don't have that on this radio, and you don't have it on its predecessor, the S350. Plus, it has a ton of other features. So I really can't choose between those three because they're really different. Like I say, the S800 is mammoth. It will fill up your entire desk, but a fantastic radio. The 750 over here is kind of in between the 800 and this one in as far as size, but it has a ton of features. It even has this rotating medium wave antenna. Pretty cool. Plus, it has a connector to connect an external medium wave antenna. Pretty cool. It has long wave also. This one has long wave. There's a little trick you have to do to get it to go into long wave. I don't remember how to do it. So that's kind of my input to your question. I really didn't answer your question. It really depends on what you want. This one, of course, is portable, doesn't take up much room on your desk. It does have the remote control, which the other radios don't. Its predecessor, like I mentioned before, is the S350. And I think there's a couple of versions of the S350. I think the latest version is the DLX or something like that. Pretty good radio. Now, this radio, when it first came out, had a problem with birdies. Now, birdies are signals that are internal to the radio that's kind of like a feedback into the radio. And so you hear this as you're tuning across the band on certain frequencies, you hear this strong signal, and it's being generated by the radio into itself. The initial release of these radios had that problem. They fixed it, they improved it, and I got one of the ones that's improved. I haven't even noticed any birdies yet on this radio. Okay, that's where we're at. Now, I just kicked the camera again. I'm always kicking the camera because it's right in front of me. Now let's go back. We were seeing what this thing found when it did an ATS, automatic tuning and storage of frequencies. I don't know what this is. Pretty loud. It might be even the transmitter out of Okeechobee, Florida. 9.625. I had to look that up. I don't remember. Let's move on. They're talking about amateur radio stations. So that's why I'm thinking it might be. Let me look it up. Stand by. Let me try to look it up. Let me go back to my. Let me share. I'll show you what I'm going to do here. Look, hit the wrong. Come on. Gee. Okay. So I'm going to share. And then I'm going to close this down so I don't get that mirror effect. And then we'll go to short dash wave. So this is the website that I use that gives you, let me turn this down, it gives you schedules of international broadcasts. And so one of the things you can do, you can put in a frequency. I want to put it 9265. 9265. And then I'll say, click on the now. And it should show me a station. Yep, it's in the United States. And it's WINB. Okay, I should have remembered that. That's WINB up here in the United States. Like I think it's in like New York area, somewhere up in here. And it's coming in loud and clear. And they're talking about amateur radio. Pretty cool. You can try that on your radio right now if you wish, depending on where you're at. You might be able to hear it. Again, this is at 9.265. I'm going to check the chat room. Stand by. Okay, we had a bunch of comments from Joe. Appreciate that, Joe. Yeah, like I say, if anybody wants to try to tune 9.625, and let us know if they receive it and where they're at, whether they receive it or not. All right, and this is another great website that I use. I've talked to the gentleman. I made some suggestions, and he made those changes to his website almost immediately. So this is a great website, and he tries to keep the information updated. And like I say, it's got a lot of features. You can find frequencies for any. I usually leave it on any station, but then you can't have any station and any language. He doesn't allow that. That would be too many results. So I'll pick English down here. But by doing that, you know, all this broadcast and other languages, you get left out. And then you can select a particular time, or the default is the time right now. You press go. It gives you a listing. And, you know, some people say there's not much on shortwave. Look at all the stations that are broadcasting just now. Now, granted, it's very difficult right now with a low propagation to receive these signals. So it appears there's nothing on shortwave. It's there. It's just that we're not able to get it. All right, let's go. Let's just pick one. The other option you have here is under remarks right here. I hope I'm showing this. Yes, I am. Okay. Under remarks here, there's a little diamond. You click on that diamond, it sorts it by signal strength with respect to your location. You have to put in your location. Here I am, this little green dot. You have to put that in. And so it's saying that right now, again, this is right now, I should be receiving these signals the strongest. And you can see now it's sorted by that. And it goes down, it quickly goes down to no bars. So you get up to 5 bars or no bars. So it says I should be able to receive China radio right now. And I typically, if I'm going to receive China radio, it's early in the morning. Not necessarily on this higher frequency, though. It's usually like 9 something. But let's try it anyway. 17,490. So I can direct tune here and type in 17,490. Oh, I'm in the wrong mode. All right. 14,790. And we'll see if we hear anything. Nope. I didn't think I would. Too early in the morning. Radio Romania. See all these frequencies up in the higher band here. I don't think I'll receive them very well. Now, there is, not too far down on this list, 9.625, which I was receiving loud and clear. Let's try one of the other ones that are lower frequency. And, of course, these stations change their schedules all the time. So it may be in his schedule. It may say there's something on, and they changed their schedule since he updated his. Let's try this one right here, RMI in Miami. They change their schedule a lot. This could be wrong. It's 5950. 5950. Put the volume up. Yeah. Not very good. So one of the things I want to point out here is if you think that you can't receive shortwave, go to this website, use this tool to help you find stations that supposedly are on the air when you're looking at it. And as you can see, look at all these stations that are on the air right now. This is only part of it. You can scroll down here forever. These are all the stations that could be on the air right now. I mean, it goes on. Got pages and pages. And like I say, you know, it varies because these international broadcast stations don't adhere to their schedule too well. They change their schedule all the time. So it might be in here, it might be close by, and you don't hear anything. That's probably just the station is not broadcasting. All right, let me check the chat room. Okay, relative to Bill's comment about the S2000, I think you're right. The S2000 is the replacement for the 750, and it, for the far as I know, is an exact replacement. I don't know of any differences. I think it's just as good. One thing, speaking as good, one thing you have to be careful of is these radios coming out of China, even the more expensive radios, definitely the small under $20 radios, but even some of the more expensive radios, the quality can vary. Their quality control is not that great. So the important thing is to try to purchase a radio from somewhere where you can easily exchange it or get a refund. I had a nightmare with the PL 880. The PL PL-880 came out a couple of years ago, and I got one of the first ones, and you could tell the design was not completed. It had many functions that were not documented, had a lot of problems. And I got it from Amazon. I got it from a dealer on Amazon. And the dealer on Amazon gave me a real hard time about returning it. And I had to get Amazon to step in, and I ended up getting a revised version. I didn't get a refund because I liked the radio initially. I got a revised version. The revised version was better, but you could still tell that they never completed the design and sent it to production unfinished. And so that radio just sits on the shelf and gathers dust. It's even the second version I got wasn't that good. So that's one thing I would advise. You're going to put a lot of money into a radio. Make sure you buy from somewhere that has a good return policy. Now, Amazon has an excellent return policy. Like I said, if a dealer gives you any problems, they will step in and fix it. I have bought thousands of things from Amazon, not only radios, but just everyday things like dog food. I don't have a dog though, cat food. And anytime I've had a problem, I would say 3 or 4 radios that I bought that had a problem, including that 880. And I go on their website and I say I want a refund or a return or a replacement. They send me an email with the mailing information, which you cut out and paste on the box. You take it to UPS, and by the time you get back home, you've already gotten your credit. But UPS scans it in, they know it, and they give you a credit. Now, if they don't receive the radio, they'll take the credit off. So, but they're very good about returning things. Like I said originally in this show, you can't get, I don't know why, you can't get this radio, this model radio off of Amazon. They just don't carry it. I don't know why. I got this one from ANON-CO. The nice lady that runs that place sent it to me for free for review. Excellent. And it works great. Great radio. Again, the original model had some problems with birdies. This one apparently does not, because I'm not having problems. Okay, where are we? Stand by. Okay, I got a hello from the Shortwave channel. I think that's what it is. And I apologize. I don't know who you are. I don't remember. I subscribe to probably over 1,000. No, maybe not that many. 500 YouTube channels, some of which are not about shortwave radio. Well, many of them are which are not about shortwave radio. Many of them about games. So it kind of rings a bell, but I don't remember. So I apologize if maybe you could tell us a little more about what your channel is and who you are. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Again, this was kind of a spontaneous show. There was a couple of things that were going on. I thought, man, I'm just going to do a show. That's the beauty of YouTube and this Hangout. You can do a Hangout on the air for, I believe it's still 8 hours. So, if you just want to, play with your radio, which is what I'm doing this morning, or build something, you can record it, and you can do it either private, so it's just for you. And I've done several of those where I didn't know how to use something, So I thought, okay, I'm going to record it using a Hangout, which gives me 8 hours of recording time. And then I can, if I flub up or something, if I break something, I can go back and see what I did wrong. So it's convenient for that too. Anyway, where were we? We were trying to get, let me see. We were trying to get, where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, okay. We were trying to get something here. Where are we at? We're at we're at WWV on this radio, which is on the internet, Kiwi SDR. And this particular radio is in Point Reeves, California, which I was hoping I could hear some traffic on the amateur radio emergency bands for hurricanes. Now, according to what somebody told me, it's now about 2 o'clock in the morning in Hawaii. Probably not going to be too much activity on the amateur radio band, so I'm going to have to wait till later in the day. Stand by. All righty, I'm going to lose my voice here. Let's go. So there's this. We're in the. I like this feature here. This ribbon up here. This is so. I mean, this. The guy that came up with this whole concept of this Kiwi SDR and radios on the internet is fantastic. He did a fantastic job. I use this again for testing my radios. I'll go on, like there is a radio, there's actually 3 radios on the air that are in Florida. So I use them to see what they're receiving. Or like in this case, I'm trying to hear, I was trying to hear radio traffic on one of the amateur radio emergency bands. And I thought, well, maybe if I select a radio that's closest to Hawaii, I might be able to hear something, which I did last night. I heard a gentleman in Omaha talking, who was conducting the net, and he was talking to a gentleman in Hawaii who was giving him status reports of the weather. Pretty cool. All righty. Let me check the chat room again. I've got the chat room set up on my other computer, so I have to go across the room to look at the status. Stand by. Hey, 741. Thanks for stepping in. I'm stepping in, checking in. I wish you didn't have to work so hard, but I know you're really busy. I would still like to try to do a hangout on the air with you sometime. You're very knowledgeable of things, especially the SDR Play. You're much further along than I am of learning how to use that and using the software. And I would love to do a hangout and talk about that radio or radios, or we've got 3 or 4 now, and the software that comes with it. Excuse me. And then the other chat, the other whatever message, let me go back. Oh, okay. Joe was saying he's in the search for this S8800 I've got right here. He was saying he just went on eBay and he couldn't find any. That's not unusual. I think it turned out to be a pretty good radio. And I think the people that invested close to $300 wants to keep it because it's a pretty cool radio, especially with the remote control. Let me go back and show you what I'm talking about. Let me stop sharing here. And we should be back on the radio. Okay, I'm talking about this radio right here. This is the Texan S8800. It's one of the fewer new radios for shortwave listing. Now, there's a bunch of new amateur radios, bunch of them. And some of them like $3,000. And like I say, the only place I know of you can get a new one, and they have them. I checked this morning, ANON-CO. They have them, but they're $270, I think. And if you want a 750 or an 800, even used, you're going to pay through the nose. I'm getting punchy here. I don't know why, but they've gone out of sight. And I think my 750 was given to me by purchased for me by one of my viewers. And I think at the time it was around $275. And this was two or 3 years ago. They're now over $300 new. Over 300. And he's like, what is going on in the market? And the other thing that confuses me is I see a lot of people, excuse me, a lot of people say the shortwave bands are dead. And I understand why you say that, because of the poor propagation. It's hard to receive shortwave stations. But as you saw when I went to that short-wave.info webpage, there's plenty of stations broadcasting. Just can't hear them. So I would think that the value of shortwave radios would go down. Well, and I go on eBay every morning looking for radios to purchase and review on my show on eBay, for instance. The prices are out of sight. I mean, just ridiculous. Like the Grundig 800. They're going for $1,000, $1,000. The 750s are going for over $300 used. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't understand it. And you'll go on there and you'll find radios that are all beat up and abused. And it says, not working, and the antenna's broken off, and it's got damage from leaky batteries. And the starting price is $75. So I'm like, what am I missing here? So I don't know. One other thing along those lines, as far as prices, Amazon in the summer, which we're still in the summer, so it's kind of coming to a close, they have some fantastic deals on everything, including radios, in the summertime. I've gotten a lot of my radios that I've done reviews in the summertime half price. So that's another thing you can look at. Again, Amazon, every morning I check Amazon for radios to review on my show. Not many new ones available except these little $20 Chinese radios. There's plenty of those, but nothing above that, because one of the reasons is the manufacturers are not making any. Now, I have a bunch on my wish list that aren't new that Amazon also allows people to sell their used equipment. Again, I have seen some prices on used equipment on Amazon from an individual that are just out of sight. I mean, 4 times the price of a new one. Now, they're radios that you can't buy new, but I don't know, give me a break. I saw some yesterday morning, and I was like, oh, I put this on my show. But then I thought, well, I'd be pointing out an individual seller. I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. No, don't want to do that. So I didn't. But there is one. Stand by and we check the chat room. Okay. We got a couple of new people in the chat room. One from China, or his handle is China. That's interesting. Again, I didn't announce this show. I'm bad about that, but I typically do hangouts on the air at the spur of the moment because some event is taking place. Like I was hoping that I could receive some signals on the amateur radio band, that there are specific frequencies on the amateur radio bands that are used for emergencies. And I figure they would be active because of the hurricane that's over near Hawaii. And they were active last night, but I didn't get set up to record it. Unfortunately, probably because of the time difference, there's nothing on the bands right now related to hurricane in Hawaii. It's too early in the morning. And I'm not going to run this show long enough for it to get to be daytime in Hawaii. As a matter of fact, I think I'm about ready to wrap it up because I'm running out of coffee. And I'm running out of voice. So I appreciate everybody that stopped by. Again, this was unannounced. I just said, I'm going to do it. So you didn't get any warning that I was going to do this. In many locations that some of my subscribers are in different time zone than me. It's 8 o'clock now. Gosh, I've been running for an hour. It's 8 o'clock now here in Clearwater, Florida. I normally get up about 4 a.m. So it's the middle of my morning. And I realize, like, people over on the west coast of the United States, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. So, but I have, luckily, I mean, I'm very lucky. I have subscribers all over the world. So there's probably not a good time zone, a time of the day to do hangouts, scheduled hangouts. So you can always watch this after the fact. And I can't believe I babbled for an hour. Again, let me go back one more time and do automatic tuning and storing on this radio. This is the Texan S-8800, and it's connected to my G5 RV external antenna. So we're going to put it into the scan mode, and it's now scanning. It takes about 5 minutes of scanning. I'm sorry for the glare. I can't seem to get rid of it. It's covering over there. Right, let me try moving this around. Yeah, that's better. Got a nice shadow, but at least you can see the display better. And I hate it that the screen I'm looking at doing this hangout is backwards. And so I can't read these numbers off the screen very well because they're backwards. I have enough trouble reading them when they're forward. And then my hands go the wrong direction, which confuses me. Now, another thing I might do, since I've been babbling so long, and several people have had questions about the 750, is hook up the 750 to my antenna. I think I'll do that. Okay, let me finish this scan. I'll see what it found, and then we'll go over to the 750. Stand by. Oh, Lewis is asking about noise, because they're not really frowned upon on YouTube. Yes, if you go over to my Facebook page, which I've announced a couple of times, that's where I'm doing the giveaways, and I'm doing one this morning. All righty. Had to be kind of quiet there. That's a touchy subject. Let me do something. I got a pen right here. I mean, I need a big fat pen. That'll show. Oh, here it is. I'll write what I was saying. Okay, that's what I was saying. And it hasn't been very successful. I've already gotten about 20 people that made it over there. So it hasn't been successful. So I'm going to have to look for another method of trying to say the right terms of getting things back to my subscribers who had helped me get them. And people send me radios. Sellers send me radios. People use my Amazon store. And by doing that, I get a small commission, and I use all of that commission to buy things to review on my show. So consequently, I've got a lot of radios that didn't cost me any money to get. And I like to, I'm looking for the right term here, like to show my appreciation. So we're trying something over here, but it's not working out. Not many people going over there. So I really don't want to go on to eBay and start selling this stuff. I thought of that as an option and thinking that I could announce it. Hopefully I wouldn't get in trouble for it. I would announce it, and then I would put a low buy now price. So it would be kind of up to the subscribers and viewers to go over there quickly and bid on it and grab the radio. That doesn't sound very good way anyway, either. So I don't know what to do about that. I've got a ton of radios to get rid of. Okay, let's see what we got on the scan. We turn the volume back up. Now I can turn the volume up here, but easier here. Okay, let's go. Bleed over from medium wave. Down below 3 megahertz, I'm getting bleed over. There's WWV at 5 megahertz. Kind of weak now. It was better before. And bleed over from medium wave is a problem for me because I have over 100 medium wave and FM stations within 25 miles of me. And some of them are within 5 miles, and they bleed over onto the medium wave band. I don't think they bleed over on this guy, but I'm usually not down on that lower part of the band, down below 3 megahertz on that radio. I'm usually, 4 megahertz and higher. So I guess I haven't noticed it. So let's move on. What else we got? There's some. Not sure what that is. 5.025. Spanish station, probably within 1,000 miles of me. 5.845. We looked that up.
A market crash. Crash that creates a significant financial downturn like we had 10 years ago. That's right. 10 years. Let's go on to the next field. Yeah, the next one is right around the corner. Very overdue. Could be the case or not.
Okay, it didn't find anything on 5845 that's broadcasting in English right now. There's about a half a dozen stations, none of them close to me. Oh, I take that back. My eyes are failing me. There's 2 of them, and one of them is IBC Radio, which is out of, we have to look at the map here. It could be what that is. That's out of the Middle East. Could be. I'm not sure. The other one is, that's broadcasting in English right now, is the BBC. And this transmitter is, where is this transmitter? out of Malaysia. That's more likely. Yeah, I think that's what it is, because the reason I say that is normally early in the morning, I can get stations from Asia. In the evening or late afternoon, I get stations from Europe and Middle East. That's probably what that is. Pretty weak, but it's coming in. Lots of noise. And it's really weak. Fading out. But it's there. And that's a long ways, if that's the right station. Let's go on. There's a strong station with music. Okay, I got to turn on music off. That's 5.95. Let me look that up. Coming in really strong. Turn the lights off, or mostly off. I'm having a hard time seeing my keyboard. Okay, that says there is one that is very close to me in Florida, and there's one in Africa. I think it's the one that's close to me because it's really strong. Yeah, let me see if I can find out which one that is. Oh, there's a bunch of stations. Oh, that's RMI out of Okeechobee, Florida, which is 200, 300 miles. I can usually get them pretty good. And this is a good program. This is called Wave Scan, which has some really nice, soothing music. And again, right now, they're broadcasting on 5.950. Pretty nice. Pretty cool. Let's move on. 6.0, I think that's Radio Habana. 6.1. Very loud. Okay, I thought they were going to announce their station because it's on the half hour. Apparently not. Oh, you go. Radio Habana. Radio Habana. 6.1. 7.3. 7.335. That's a Spanish station. Let me see where that one is. See if I can find it. Stand by. I can see my keyboard. As you can tell, I'm losing my voice. 7335. And it is Radio Martini, probably, in Greensville. Greensville? Greensville what? Let me click on the flag here so I can get the map. North Carolina. I should have known that. Alrighty, they're loud and clear. So now the stations are coming in pretty good. I've gotten about half a dozen already. Something there, but very weak. It is I bet my camera's not even facing the radio. Stand by. Yeah, it is. Okay. That sounds like the same station I had before. 7365. 7.440. Kind of weak. Kind of weak. It's weak. Oh. 7.49 is loud and clear. Let me look that one up. I have to look these up because my memory is just gone. I can't remember anything. Unlike Jill's in Canada, he can remember this stuff off the top of his head. I cannot. I can't remember what kind of radio's on. 90. So I have to look it up. And that's in, it's like it's in Tennessee. Yeah, Nashville, Tennessee, WWCR, loud and clear.
We're in the same spot as the nation, as the American people,
Okay, that one's good. Gosh, we're up to 17 signals, some of noise, that I had received on that last scan. That sounds like China radio. 7.505. I'm losing my voice. 750. And that's, no, it's not. It's WRNO. Looks like it's out of New Orleans.
WRNO.
Yeah.
B-O.
Yeah. So that's coming in loud and clear. Of course, it's in New Orleans, on the coast. I'm on the coast of Florida, so not surprising. All right, let me. I'm going to write that one down to go back to. I haven't ever listened to that station. Would I say it was WRNO or something like that? Whoops. Put the music on. Yeah. WRNO in New Orleans. That's what the N is for. New Orleans. All righty. Oh, I don't know if we're going to get to this. We're up to 18. 18 signals it's found on that last scan. Pretty good. Go to 19. 9265. Australia. No. That's at Australia. It sure is not Radio Australia. I think they went off the air. Let me look that one up. This could be a really great find. 9265. It's probably the transmitters down the street. That's the one thing you kind of have to watch for, is where the transmitters are. Because he said here in Australia, but it could be a rebroadcast, plus it might be a transmitter not in Australia, and that appears to be the case. It is WINB, yeah, WINB in the United States. All righty. I thought I had already Australia, which has gone off the air. All right, I'm getting, maybe the coffee's getting to me. Let me check the chat room. Doesn't look like there's any more comments in the chat room, and we are down to 10 watchers. And I appreciate everybody coming by. Again, this was not a scheduled hangout. I typically don't do scheduled hangouts, unlike Jill's, who does a show, a couple of shows, several times a week at the same time every week. I just do it kind of randomly when I think some event is taking place. And my original intent this morning was to be able to pick up some of the emergency broadcasts on the amateur radio bands, but I'm not getting any, and it's, as someone pointed out, it's too early in the morning in Hawaii for anybody to be on the radio. Anyway, all right, let's finish this scan. I did a ATS scan of the entire international broadcast bands about a half hour ago. So I'm going through and seeing what's found right now. Okay, so let's turn the volume back up. Really weak. 9.320. I don't think I'll look that one up. No, that's China radio. 9.570. Now, whether it's a local transmitter or not, I don't know. It's so strong. Let me see if short-wave.info website will tell me if this is local or not. 9570. That's the one I listen to all the time. Help if I could type, but of course I got all the lights off. I can't see. Oh, yeah. 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 China radio has, let's see, where is it? Yeah, right here. We click on it. Yeah, this is the transmitter. It's in Cuba, and that's why I usually get this one so clear, because it's probably 800 miles from me, line of sight, and it's coming in loud and clear. China radio transmitters throughout the world. All right, let's move on.
Poner al niño lo que tú quieras y no
Spanish, 9.805, probably Radio Habana. Yep, that's coming out of Greenville, Tennessee, and that's Radio Martini. Loud and clear. We're up to 22 stations or signals. 9380, that's gone. 9930, pretty weak. I'm gonna look it up anyway. 9930. Sound like that station, religious station out of Puerto Rico or somewhere down there, somewhere in the Caribbean. No? It mainly shows, and there's 100 of them listed. T8WH. And let's see what this one transmitter might be. Oh, out in the middle of the Pacific. Where? Oh, it's a little island east of the Philippines called, I don't know what it's even called. It's coming in okay. Huh. All right, let's move on. I'm going to have to give up on trying the 750. I'm going to be too exhausted. Do that later this afternoon, maybe. 11640, pretty weak. $11.71, $11.785, $11.825, 11.925, weak. 11.940, 11.97, 11.985, 12.07, 12.1, 13.575, 13.665, pretty strong. Just going to keep going. 13.74, something there. 13.76, 13.83, something there. 15.23, nothing. Something there. 15.285 is weak. 15.38, something there. 15.745. That's pretty strong. 17.705. And we're done. Because let's see, what was the highest number? 44, and I would say 95, at least 95% of those were real stations. Now, conditions are changing, and it took me an hour almost to get through all of those. So some of them that were pretty weak may have been stronger when I did the scan. Anyway, I'm losing my voice, so I'm going to have to call it quits. I thank everybody for stopping by. If you enjoyed this kind of show, I will try to do it scheduled in advance and not just spur of the moment. So when I think conditions are going to be better, I will schedule ones at least 2 hours in advance and then try to do it. You never know what's going to happen 2 hours later. Reception may be in the toilet again. And if I get my voice back, I'll try it this afternoon, maybe with the 750. Anyway, let me check the chat room one more time, and then we're going to call it quits. Okay, Chris stopped by. We had about, 20 people in the chat room. I appreciate that. If you enjoyed this show, please give me a thumbs up. Again, you can watch this show after the fact. I'm almost 2 hours in the show. I watch Jill's hangouts, and I don't get to see them all live because of the time of day he does them, but I go back and watch them later. And I look at the fact that he's done them for like 1 or 2 hours, and I'm like, how could he do that for that many hours? Well, now I see why. Anyway, thanks everybody for stopping by. Have a great day, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.